My boss made me respond to every security alarm in person until his Bahamas vacation coincided with hurricane season. I've been head of security at Westlake Museum of Contemporary Art for 6 years. Our $200 million collection includes works by Warhol, Basquiat, and Kusama, so naturally we have a state-of-the-art security system. What we also have is a CO with absolutely no understanding of how security actually works. For years, our protocol was efficient. When an alarm triggered, I'd check our 64 cameras remotely from my phone. If something looked suspicious, I'd drive the 4 minutes from my apartment to investigate. If not, which was 99.8% of the time, I'd reset the system remotely. The museum board loved that we saved thousands in unnecessary call-out fees. Then came the Phillips Gallery heist in Boston. 3 Picassos stolen despite their impenetrable security system. Our CEO Richard completely lost it. This could be us, he announced during an emergency meeting, pacing around the conference room. From now on, every alarm must be physically investigated. No exceptions. I don't care if it's 3 a.m. and you can see it's a moth on the camera. Someone goes in person. I tried explaining that our system was different, that false alarms were costing me sleep, and that physically opening the building for each alert actually created more security vulnerabilities. Do you want to be the one explaining to the board why we lost a $40 million painting? Richard asked. Because I don't. For the next month, I responded to an average of 2.7 alarms per night. I documented everything. The plastic bag that drifted into the sculpture garden at 2:14 a.m., the bat that somehow got into the east wing at 1:37 a.m., the air conditioning system creating enough vibration to trigger sensors at 4:22 a.m. I showed Richard the logs, the videos, the time stamps I brought in the security system manufacturer, who confirmed our false positive rate was normal and that remote verification was industry standard. Richard wouldn't budge. Better safe than sorry, he'd say before heading home to his uninterrupted 8 hours of sleep. My doctor warned me about the health effects of chronic sleep deprivation. I was making mistakes during the day, forgetting conversations, nearly falling asleep while driving. Then came my scheduled 2-week vacation, a kayaking trip in Alaska I'd planned a year in advance. Non-refundable according to protocol. When the head of security is unavailable, alarm response duty falls to the next person in the chain of command. The CO, the day before my vacation, Richard casually mentioned he was also taking time off. His spontaneous trip to the Bahamas with his wife for their anniversary. Who's handling alarms while we're both gone? I asked. Restule your vacation, he said without looking up from his phone. I reminded him that my trip was planned and paid for a year ago, that I'd already postponed it once for a special exhibition, and that company policy guaranteed vacation time. Fine, he sighed. I'll handle it from the Bahamas. How bad could it be? What Richard didn't know, hurricane season had just begun, and our barometric pressure sensors are extremely sensitive to sudden weather changes. I was halfway through my Alaskan wilderness when my colleague texted me. A Category 2 hurricane was skirting the Florida coast, creating pressure fluctuations all along the eastern seaboard. Our museum's alarms had triggered 16 times in one night. Richard from his beachfront resort had to coordinate with local police for each response. Since he couldn't physically attend, each police visit cost the museum $350. By day 3 of his vacation, the museum had spent over $12,000 on false alarm responses. On day 4, I received an all-staff email effective immediately. Security protocol update. Joke to system opposition requirements. Remote verification of alarms is now authorized before physical response. Security team may use professional judgment to determine necessity of in-person investigation. Richard, when I returned from vacation, I found a new security monitoring system had been installed, one with better weather pattern recognition and fewer false positives. Richard never mentioned the previous protocol again. The best part, I checked the expense reports. I have access as department head. Richard had to cut his Bahamas trip short by 5 days, losing over $4,000 in non-refundable reservations. Sometimes the most powerful security feature isn't technology, it's making sure the person creating the rules has to follow them too. If you want to hear what happened when Richard tried to implement a no vacation during hurricane season policy for security staff, only share this video.